open up.
Hello.
So here's our guest. Hi. So here's our guest for today. This is Witchy Marlaina. Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited about this.
I am also excited about this, and I was just telling probably right now my followers um, what this podcast is about. And what I really like to do is just have conversations with mature models to get to know a little bit more about them. I want to empower them. I'm hoping that my followers will follow you. And when your followers get a chance to view this podcast, just know this is a podcast, we are being recorded, that we can each help each other increase the fans because we know we
Absolutely.
love fans. So
Oh, that's the goal, isn't it?
for
We
sure,
want to say hi to everyone.
exactly. I'm trying to get my iPad to come back up, and it's giving me heartburn right now. So tell me a little something about. Tell the fans a little something about you. Where are you from? Where are you calling in from?
I am based now in near Houston, Texas. Everything is a little bigger in Texas from what I'm told. Uh, main From Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about an hour north of Nashville. And we moved here about a decade ago. So I feel like I have definitely embraced the whole Texan culture for
Have
sure.
you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's
And oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say it's very interesting. I was Foxy Darling was my first guest on my first podcast, and she's from Texas.
Well, we
So
probably are not near each other because Texas is freaking huge.
mhm, yeah,
Like
no, I just find it interesting that the demographic you're both from the same area.
that is so awesome. Well, yeah, absolutely. Definitely love some Texas ladies. We're we're a few of us, that's for sure. I know one of my favorites is Hot Texas Wife 84. She is absolutely fantastic. And it's been doing it pretty much as almost as long as I have. So um I
And how
totally
long have you?
adore.
And how
I've
long
been
have you been doing this?
I have been taking pictures and have been on IG since 2016, but I've been doing the content creating since 2019.
Hmm.
And
Okay, so where you are?
I've been kind of morphing into this whole witchy thing since then. Like in the beginning, I was more the MILF, the mom next door, the your best friend's mom, your best friend or your I was never like the secretary or the student. I was always the auntie, the mom, the neighbor, that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. And I kind of embraced that for a while, but I knew it wasn't all me. Yeah, I am a mom. Yeah, I am an auntie. Yes, I am those things. But I wanted a little bit more of me to come out, and that's when. And people ask me if this is a gimmick, and I say no. I am a witch. I do have plenty of crystals and herbs to my dispense, and I don't hex, but I do put people in freezers.
Oh, good to know. So you've had a good week. It's that your persona can come out this week, particularly because it's Halloween week. But you are this 365.
Yeah, I tell people this is not a holiday for me, it's a lifestyle.
Hmm.
And yes, my kiddos are always very, very embarrassed of all of my witch hats and the things I wear, but I don't care because that's what we as parents do is we're supposed to embarrass our children. So I am embracing
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. So you have this persona, but then you also have. You're doing an OF page? Do you have an OF page?
I
Yeah.
do. I started my OF page, the VIP one I started back in 2019 with all of this good stuff. And then my free page I started about a year later. And before the whole pandemic stuff came, I was definitely on there and having a good time with it. And then the pandemic shot up. All of us pretty much were on OF or any type of platform like that, trying to connect with people that we couldn't connect with in real life and
Hmm.
possibly make a little money on the side too. So yeah, that's my page. I think I have over now 1,000 videos and over 12,000 or over, I think it's like 1,500 photos now on. So my page is pretty expansive, and it's funny because I had a person go back to 2020 to comment on one of my videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot I even did that.
I know it feels like sometimes when I'm scrolling through the vault and I'll go, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Or I pull something out of the closet to put on and go, when was the last time I had this on?
Hmm.
And then you see it in one of those videos and you go, oh, it's been a while. And I've not been doing this anywhere near as long as you've been doing this. So you probably have quite the vault.
Oh, I've been saying that I need a big storage unit in my backyard just for toys, video props, outfits, that sort of thing. But I still haven't pled my case enough to get one yet.
More videos, more money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what is it about the business that you enjoy the most? Do you enjoy the Witchy Marlaina part? Do you enjoy the OX side? Are you crossing them over?
I like the meshing part of it. I like empowering other women. That was my main goal when I started doing this was I had a lot of ladies not just in like out my age and even younger saying, "Oh my gosh, you're so confident in your body." And I'm like, "Yes, because that's what I want. I want more women to be confident in their bodies because we're all different and embracing that those differences. I always say I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but somebody does drink me. So, so I am somebody who enjoys me on a daily,
There you
and
go.
I think that's another thing that I enjoy too is that I'm very one-on-one with my fans, and I have a lot of OGs that have been with me from the beginning that own the panties, own the videos, own the custom photos, you name it, they have it, and it's just I've never been so grateful to have a platform to where one, I can feel sexy, two, I can interact with people who have the same likes, same interests, some not just necessarily the sexy stuff, but I've had plenty of fans that talk to me about witchy things too, and I've learned plenty from a few of my really good followers that are witches, warlocks, wizards, you name it, that have come to me and go, "Oh my gosh, I'm glad you have this platform because we have been in hiding for so long that
Hmm.
I don't feel comfortable talking about this to anyone else who doesn't know what's going on." I'm like, "Oh, absolutely." I've had plenty of people come up to me and go, "What crystals do you wear?" Or, I need to feel more self-confident. How do you do that? Do you have a spell jar? Do you have, I'm having trouble sleeping. Could you, conjure something for me? I've made sleep spell jars. I have one client who is absolutely fantastic. He's a police officer and he doesn't sleep because his shifts are just awful. And I'm like, let me make you something. Please, let me help. And I sent him a spell jar and he's like, Marlena, I've never had that, but that best of a sleep. He's like, it wasn't long.
Hmm.
He's like, but it was very, very hard. And I was
Hmm.
like, that's all I wanted. I know you're not going to be able to get your 8 to 10 hours of sleep, but as long as the quality of your sleep is great, that's what that jar is for. So yeah, it's not all about the TNA, even
Hmm.
though the TNA helps.
Hmm.
Uh, I do tarot card readings.
I,
I do them naughty too.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you do tarot cards? I don't know if like palm reading or any of that comes into play for you as well.
Um, Palm reading is definitely a divination I haven't dived into. The cards were pretty much something that called to me when I was a baby witch, and when I did some homework on my culture, Italians love tarot. That was their thing. That was their divination. And so I was like, all right. let's stick with this for right now. Let's hone that craft. And then possibly we'll move into other types of divination, which I have kind of veered into pendulum readings. Because of the crystals that I collect, I have beautiful pendulums but people kind of are a little leery about the pendulums because they think I'm moving it.
Mm-hmm.
But I pretty much tell them, I'm like, you can see my hand's not moving. And so I try to, that's one of the things when it comes to the cards, like it's easy for me to just pull out a deck, say this is for you, shuffle, pull out a card and say, okay. Now you don't have to tell me you have a question. So I've had a lot of people that just say, would you just pull a card for me? I just need guidance. Now I had a person ask me to fortune tell him. Now that was the one thing I was like, okay, I'm a tarot card reader. I'm not a fortune teller. He's like, what's the difference? I was like, ooh, good question. When you're thinking of a fortune teller, you're thinking crystal ball. Oh, I see into your future. Modern fortune tellers are pretty much your psychic mediums. People who can connect to the other side, people who have spirit guides that they pretty much converse with to get things or to answer some questions that it might need a little bit more specific answers.
Mm-hmm.
Tarot, which I do, is more of your general questions. And it's a guide. It's not necessarily going to tell you that you're going to win the lottery next week and it's going to be $15 million and you're going to get a Lamborghini. No, it's not going to tell you these things. It's going to tell you the broader aspect of what to look for. So, case in point, it was a full moon in Scorpio, and I have a beautiful tarot deck that has Edgar Allan Poe on it. Again, I'm a collector, so I have crystals galore, I have tarot decks galore, and that one I used only a few times. But this one told me that someone was going to betray me. Someone was going to, like, people were going to talk behind my back. Money was going to be flown away. Like, our money was going to be depleted. Like, it was like a serious, like, hardcore reading, and it freaked me out. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, well, I was riding this really good high. Sometimes with all the highs, you got to get the lows. So maybe this is like the balance that I needed. Not even 2 days later, my husband comes home and says that he was let go from his job. His boss, his trainer, were out to get him, talking behind his back, making him look bad to the main plant manager. And so all of the cards that were coming, like that was saying that there was going to be betrayal, our money was going to be depleted, all of it came into fruition not even 2 days later. Now,
Wow.
granted, I don't touch that deck often anymore because sometimes decks can be very brutal and very honest. But again, it didn't tell me that it was my husband. It didn't tell me that it was going to be his job. It didn't tell me the basic or the specifics of it. It just told me, watch for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is coming. Watch for it. And sure enough.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those times when something happens and you don't understand why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And down the road, all of a sudden you go, okay,
That's what happened.
this is now I understand why that happened. When so
Absolutely.
many times we can explain things, and oftentimes you cannot. So that's exactly what that sounded like. And that's kind of, you didn't know whether it was talking about you or, and it was talking about somebody you loved.
Absolutely. And it affected me
Mm-hmm.
directly because that's my house. That's not just a friend of mine. That's so yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where, again, I didn't know what or when, but I knew something to watch for. So that's what the tarot cards are there for, our guide to where your basic questions: love, money, career, spirituality, your health. I get a lot of those questions. I get a lot of, am I going to be alone for a while? And when I tell people, because I've had people ask me for love spells too, and I'm like, I'm like the genie on Aladdin. I can't make anyone fall in love with you. I can make you fall in love with yourself, and that confidence and
Tools, yeah.
you finding your own strength will project and attract that light in someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an immediate. I can't say, oh, tomorrow you're going to meet the love of your life. But I am going to say, once you find that inner peace and are confident in yourself, that will radiate through you, and definitely you will get it in return. And like I said, the love jars that I've done were not to attract love. It was to give love to themselves. And I've had a lot. Again, I've had people go, "Oh, you're a crock of shit. We don't believe that stuff. Oh, okay, whatever. You're a witch." It's more education and using metaphysical properties with the herbs and the stones and the salt and all that stuff to create an environment to harvest your energy. The energy you give out is the energy you receive. I've always said that. What wolf do you feed? Do you feed the positive and wonderful and the bright, or do you feed the dark and the sad and the depressed? And that's anything. The one thing you feed is the one thing you project, and what you project you attract. So if you're that, and granted, shadow work in this is very important, and that stuff also, shadow
What's the
work
shadow work?
is a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a light witch, oh, I'm happy, not every witch is happy, believe you me, we're not. It's one of those things where you're dealing with your inner demons, and how do you decipher what is you and what is not you? And so that's what they call shadow work, is taking your negativities, your depression, your anxieties, and trying to not necessarily manipulate it, but understand it, take it, rock with it, move forward, let it go. It's a lot of rituals. I've done a lot of letting go ceremonies where, I had a brother that passed away from a drug overdose, and I had a lot of survivor's guilt for a very long time. And when I started this journey, that was one of my first rituals, was to let go of that survivor's guilt, to forgive him for making those decisions and forgive myself for not being there enough for him. And it has helped me connect with him on another level. Now that I've let that burden go, it has helped a lot. And a lot of people don't want to talk about their shadow work because that is that personal journey, not necessarily what I would, if it would help somebody to talk about it, then absolutely. But it's something that's your journey. That's your spiritual being on the chopping block, pretty much, because that's not all the pretty stuff. It's all the bad stuff too.
It's all the stuff you suppress.
Yeah.
A lot of suppression.
And that's another thing too.
Suppression.
A lot. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because the more you shove it down, the more room you're having to pile on top of it too. And there's a lot of like generational stuff that people are going through that are trying to, like, I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be like my grandma. I'm not going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, going through those motions also is shadow work too, is how to break those generational curses or gaps that you don't want to hold on to anymore, because it's not you. It's not your generation. It's not, you know what I mean? So that's the work, the witch work that I do that nobody really sees.
Okay, so that leads me to a question. You're a wife. You're a mom.
I am.
And you said you're an aunt and all of the
Absolutely.
things
I'm all
that
that
we
stuff.
are. Yep, what we are outside of here. How many hours a day or how many hours a week are you putting into this work?
The content creating stuff? Oh, okay.
That and the time spent on your videos and...
Now, this isn't my main job. I have a regular 9 to 5 too.
You have a real one?
I do. I am a medical recruiter for a big medical corporation. So the cool thing is that I'm able to do it from home. So I'm able to, if I need to stop and do some content real quick, or if I forgot to do a segment that I need to quickly film, I'm not running off to work, I can quickly do it and then go and sit in my chair. Um, so if I did this full time, it would probably be a totally different answer to that question. But when it comes to content, and I would say it's not as much as a normal content creator. I Now, if you tack in all the time I'm on social media, all the filming, all the photos, all the live chats, all the, that sort of stuff, I would say a week, it's another 30 to 40 hour job.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. So, and that was the point of my question was for our fans and followers to understand that um, this is only a part of who we are.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And for the commitment that we make to do this, we've obviously made a conscious decision. Nobody coerced us into doing this. Um, I, like you, totally enjoy spending time responding to my fans, particularly over on OF,
Mm-hmm.
is where I have that personal connection with people. I may comment to things on Instagram or X or whatever
Mm-hmm.
other platforms. But when I'm on OF, it's those personal kind of things. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you know a lot about some of your fans and followers, and
Absolutely.
it's because they have totally embraced um, a persona, a feeling, a gift that you give. So, do you have anybody or many somebodies on your list that you have that connection with? It's like
Absolutely.
it's almost like having another husband or having another
Oh yeah.
child
Oh
or
yeah. And the thing is like the ones that I connect with the most know more personal stuff about me. Like they know about my husband, they know about my kiddos. Like it's one of those things where I like that my energy has attracted me to them. And they tell me that. They're like, it's your energy. It's your energy. You're always like so happy and I'm like, but sometimes I'm really not that happy. And those people know, like, oh, I'm not feeling too good today. Oh, I'm not here mentally like I'm supposed to. Like those people are like, oh my gosh, Witchy, I'm so sorry. What could I do to help you? If you want to chat, just let me know. I'm right here. Like that's the stuff that keeps me going in this business, because this business can be very brutal. It's not all rainbows and sunshine, and it could be, sometimes I can't make the content automatically. That's another thing, is like I have a cameraman that works shift work. So if I have a custom video, it might be a week before I get to it. And I tell them, I'm not one of those where like, oh, it's coming and it doesn't come. No, no, no. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to need a little time. If it's going to be with someone else, I'm going to have to correlate schedules. We're all moms. We all have families. We have to do this when kids are at school, because we can't do it like whenever. So that's another thing too, is that my fans are very, very understanding, but their content shows like it shows how appreciative I am for when they get their content. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I waited. This was perfect. This is what I wanted.
yeah,
And so that's where the balance is, because not a lot of people are like that. They want, you know,
right now. You
right
want it
now, like
right now.
content in the internet. You can, honestly, I've Googled myself and I'm like, oh gosh, people can see me for free anyway. Google Witchy and you'll find her.
Yeah.
And that's another people. And like, I love the people who are like, hey, Witchy, you're on this website. Did you know you're on this website? I was like, oh, no, I didn't. Let's go and see. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm on here. And I've tried to, like, I know you have Hamster, right? Or X Hamster or what have
I'm
you.
on Twitter. I'm on X Hamster.
Yeah.
Multiple IG pages.
Pages. Yeah.
OF. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like
So I wasn't on Hamster, and one of my fans was like, "Hey, I think someone's pretending to be you here." I was like, "Uh-oh," and I think that's the main thing that I'm upset about, is people taking advantage of my fans, pretending to be me, trying to get money from my fans, and I'm like, "Listen, guys, I will voice message you I will, if you have any problem, if you don't think it's me, say, hey, send me a voice. And I'll say, hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm letting you know this is Witchy. I promise it's me. Because there's so many people that take your photos and run with them. And it doesn't matter if they're watermarked, it doesn't matter anymore. Like they will take your crap and just go, yeah. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm not on any dating websites. So if you see my face anywhere there, it's not me. You're not going to get a date with Witchy. You're getting a date with some dude in Yugoslavia and not me. Um,
Yeah.
I don't do WhatsApp
Nope.
or like, what is it? Yeah, I
I
can't
don't
do
do
any of that stuff.
Telegram, WhatsApp,
Yeah,
none of
no, I
those.
can't. I can't. Well, honestly, and that's another thing is like we have a lot we have to manage.
Hmm.
Like I have people ask me, "Do you have Snapchat?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do, but I don't go to it." Like because
Yep.
one, I don't really know how to work it, and too many DMs overwhelm me.
Oh God. Yep. You're singing to
And
the
that's what they don't
choir.
understand. It's like they think they're the only person that's going to be messaging me. And I'm like, I wish that was the case and we would
Yep.
have a grand old time. But unfortunately, it's not. And when you're managing, like you said, I have 4 Instagram accounts, I have 2 Facebook accounts, I have an X, I have 2 OFs, I have a Fansly, you name it, I got it. I have a many vids, which I did a long time
Mhm.
ago because I just wanted a place to just dump my stuff and not get like community busted. And that was another thing too, is that it's hard to one find other content creators close to you because this is not something I can go to Starbucks and go, hey, I'm on
What are
OF. Are
you
you on OF?
doing
Let's
today?
let's make content together.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Our network is vast, but
Hmm.
there's not people that are here near you to make content with. And
Hmm.
that's another thing that could potentially hurt your money too, because there's only so much. I don't have the plethora of people at my disposal for content. When someone asks, hey, I want this and this, I'm like, well, I can give you one of those. I can't give you all 3 of those.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that's
And it's
that's
so
the
interesting
that's the
that
downside of it.
you are saying the exact same thing that I've experienced.
Well,
And
good.
I think all of us, if we were sitting around a round table having this conversation, um, it is, I don't do Facebook anymore because I wasn't hacked on Facebook. I was hijacked on Facebook.
What?
Mhm. And the, I had to literally take everything down, everything. And it was like my image was out there and it was dropping off in people's mailboxes, and it's like, oh my God, between, trying to go in and they're going, yeah, well, yeah, you did get hijacked. And you know what? There's really nothing we can do about it. And it's like, okay, well, we're totally off Facebook for now. And I took down pages on Instagram, and it kills you because you don't want to lose those fans and followers. You don't know if you're going to get them back, but it comes into, there has to be some self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm sorry, my husband was a cop when he was alive, and it was one of us is going home tonight, and that one is going to be me. So in the end, it's like you have to look out for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you stating that this is can be a not fun place to be sometimes as that creator. And so it was just like the scariest thing. And after 2 weeks, it was like, I'm having this debate. Am I going to go back and do this, or am I not?
Right.
And about 2 weeks in, and it's like, I really miss doing what I was doing. And I'm frustrated that someone made me feel differently.
Right.
And
Or that's a violation in all honesty. It
yeah,
literally is taking your image and throwing, like you said, putting it through the mud, and
totally.
it's not you. And you can't say it enough. That wasn't me. That wasn't me because who's gonna, oh well, it's your face, it's your
Yes.
like
Yep. Yep. And then I don't know if you've experienced this, but people who have followed me for a very long time will message me and go, "Is this you? Is this your account? It looks like."
Mhm.
And it's like, thank you so much. So I have people out there policing for
Right?
me, because you can't be everywhere all the time. And it's like, you are absolutely right. That's a fake account. Take it down. Or I go in and I have just put up a post, and if there's comments that have been made, and I'll look and it's like, somebody's already liked that content,
Uh-huh.
and it's not me, because I'm usually going in and either making little replies or little hearts or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And to have somebody going in who's pretending to be me, and it's like, my gosh, I didn't think I was all that in a bag of chips, but apparently I am to somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's validating for me to hear that other people have experienced that with the exact same frustration, except that we continue to want to do what we're doing. And I know I've learned to be a lot safer with stuff that I do, depending on the platform that I'm on.
Right.
um, have you found that as well?
Well, now that I'm paying to be verified, that has also helped immensely. Granted, they're still going to steal the stuff off of it, but the little blue check marks that I spend lots and lots of money on has helped my fans go, okay.
This is
Then I get
cute.
they're coming at me. Did you make another account? Do you have another backup? Do I need to follow this one? And so when they see, and that's with Facebook, I do have a separate one just for the fam that I've had for decades. And then my verified one that I do with my segments and live chats and that sort of stuff too. I think, like I said, now it's harder for someone to hijack it with that check mark because I guess I'm being watched a little bit more now, to be fair. I have been kicked off of IG over 26 times.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad.
In the course of
It,
in the course of almost a decade.
yeah,
It seems like every year I have to rebuild at least 2 times a year. Now, what I don't like is that when we are kicked off or banned or whatever, we don't know what we did.
exactly.
And half the
Exactly.
time, it wasn't even my photo or my content. It might have been something I wrote, something that was, it could have been a shout out on a story that got me down, which has happened. I've had a story knock me out. And so I'm like, I wish we knew the specifics or a time frame of what happened
Mm-hmm.
instead of just going, nope, you're done. And I'm like, oh. But this go around, like you said, I'm a little older, a little wiser to this, and I'm starting to go, nope, self-preservation. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do this. No, I got to do this. No, I got to be a little more safer on my lives. I got to do this. And that's another thing too, is like you get all the people on your live chats that see other people doing a lot more risque things, and they think you could do it too. And I tell them I am public enemy number one, and apparently people love to watch me, and not necessarily my fans, but also police, IG police. So that's why I have to be very, very self-conscious about what I say, what I do, who I talk to sometimes. So it's very, that's another frustrating part of this, because we don't have a certain spot to advertise. Social media is our only avenue, and we have to do it in code.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do it very easy, very, very sneaky, we can't just say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
come join me.
Yeah, here I am.
No. Yeah, here I
Yeah.
am. No,
It is it and I that's why a lot of times when I ask somebody to do an S-graph, um, or they want to post a picture on my page, which I'm more than happy to do, and I'm going to go, safe. I need a safe picture.
yeah.
And they'll send me something, and I will think it's totally benign, but I don't trust the people who are monitoring or picking on me today, because it can feel like you're being picked on today.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I need a safe picture. And it's like, well, you look at others that are posting pictures that are nowhere near safe or as benign or as clean as mine. And
It's true.
they're still up, and I've lost pages, just like you.
Yep. Yep. And I've come to realize too that a lot of these content creators have like burner accounts where it's they do all of that really risque stuff on one account. They share it to all their big stuff so that way everybody is going over there. And then if it's gone, and it's not a big deal. It's not hurting their 100K page.
Mm-hmm.
It's only hurting a 25K page,
Right.
or you know what I mean? Like it's not it's but I was always devastated because if it wasn't just one of my pages, the backups would go. Everything, it would almost be like a nuclear bomb
Mm-hmm.
of stuff
Yeah.
that would happen. And it's just, I guess that's another reason why I kind of have four right now, just to
I
kind
know.
of like
And I usually
maneuver
do that. I'll go,
between
okay, we'll chat on the page that has the least number
just
of
for a hot minute, because again too I want to kind of give a page a break.
yeah.
So like once I get to a certain number, I give it a break, and then I go
Mm-hmm.
to the backup and I can get it to that number, or like right now it's like 50K. That's where I want to get this page to, and then I'm going to give it a break again, and then I'm going to go back to Witchy 25 and I'm going to grow that for another 25K, and it just kind of go back and forth, because I
Yeah.
feel like if you have a page that you focus on all the time, that's when you start being noticed a little bit more, and then they start digging into your backups because you're, or if you grow too fast. I've had one page taken down because I grew 3,000 people in 30 minutes, and they're like, whoa, 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 you're a fake.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
And yeah, so I totally get it. And that's part of our business too, is we have to find the ins and outs. That we don't have a protocol book. We don't have the instruction manual on how
There's
to grow our
no
business.
rules and regulations.
No, 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 no. And that was another thing too, is that I get a lot of, I'm a model. I do pictures, I do videos, I don't do meetups. And so I get the whole, well, if you're doing all that stuff and you have that page, why are you? I'm like, no, 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 no. This is something that, you know, I still have a family, I still have a husband, but I love doing this for me. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women out there that are moms and wives that will have lost themselves because they're a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
And this is how I separate my mom and wifeness for something for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you do too,
Mm-hmm.
is that, yeah, we use the MILF thing and we run with it, but it's something that we do not because we're a mom, but we do it because we are women that we want to feel not a mom. We don't want to feel like a mom anymore. Not
Yeah.
anymore, but we don't want to, we know we are so and so's mom. We know we are so and so's auntie. We know we are so and so's wife. But I want to be witchy. I want to be Witchy Marlaina right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And
where
have
my
fun with it.
fans, yeah,
Yeah.
and absolutely, and have a good time and enjoy it and feel great about it. And if you want me to play your mommy, I will. but that's, but that's something that I feel like we need separation to boost ourselves, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of women out there that are really down on themselves because they're in this mundane thing of what they
A
feel like
rut.
they need to be. Yes.
A rut.
And then they look at me going, oh my gosh, I don't know, I couldn't do what you do. I get that a lot too. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't just do what you do. Why not? Why not? You're beautiful, you're
That's
gorgeous. Why not?
and that's very interesting to hear you say that, because I have invited quite a few models to hop on this podcast with me, and they are all in until I want to confirm something with them, and they'll go, "Yeah, I'm shy," or it's like, I don't think that I could do that in front of the camera," and I'm thinking, "Oh my god." I talk to random strangers all the time. I could probably talk a starving dog off a meat wagon. And how can you be in this business and be shy? It's something that I I can't kind of wrap my hands around. But there's a lot of anonymity that comes from being by yourself a lot of the time with just you and a camera. Um, that's
And a lot
kind
of
of
people don't show their face. And that's another thing
that's
too.
that's interesting. That's true too. Yeah.
I don't see how people make money without showing their money
Mm-hmm.
maker. I think and honestly, at the beginning, I wanted to be kind of, like you said, anonymity is rampant. And in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, because again, I wasn't confident in my own body. I didn't want. I was like, yeah, you can take pictures right here, but like, I don't want people to see that I'm doing this. And then I realized, no, no, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started interacting with my face, not just the rest of me, it was one of those things where like, oh my gosh, I'm connecting with you so much more. I was like, that's what I wanted. I didn't want to just be some porn star. I wanted to be a person that connects with people, or to, have my story be heard
Mm-hmm.
and have someone wanting to share their story with me. And that was just, and I feel like that's something that when you're in this business, when you get really big, you lose. You lose that. It's almost, I'm saying we're kind of wholesome in that regard, because I've had so many people like, oh, I'm so glad you're real. I'm so glad you're
Mm-hmm.
real. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you think I was real? It's like, because you're unattainable. And I'm like, no, oh yeah, kind of. I'm not available right now, but I am someone to
Yeah.
definitely want to hang out with, or, talk, shoot the shit with, or like I said, if you have an issue that a witch could potentially be a part of, I'm definitely
Yeah.
down. I just, like I said, this business can be very scary. And
Mm-hmm.
when people want to be anonymous, it's because they feel like they have a lot to lose when their face is involved. And I guess, like I said, with us kind of doing it for a longer period of time, I've kind of given up to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what I do? Great. Hope you're a fan. Like it's,
Yeah.
what else? You know, what other title? Okay, yeah, mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a content creator. I'm a recruiter. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. My mom knows what I do. That's a lot of people ask me, like, does your family know what you do? I'm like, one, I'm 40 years old, so if my family has any problem with it, they can fuck off. Two, because I'm a grown ass adult and I can do what I want. Two, yes, they do know. And my mom is a little nervous about like the whole safety of it. But she said, Marlena, when you were younger, you wanted to be a Hooters girl. So I figured this was going to kind of come down to it. You were going to do something kind of crazy like this. She said, but she's like, but I'm a little worried about your safety, because the
Yeah.
internet is,
I'm sure it's a mom thing.
it is. And like I said, if
You're
my
always going to
kiddo
be their
ever
little
decided to
girl.
do this, I would want to be probably hands-on with her to definitely, but I'm not going to promote it. I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, go for it. But if she says, yeah, sure, mom, I'm 18 and I want to try this out, then that would be something I would show her the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let her make that decision on her own. Like, when you're an adult, you can make those decisions, but I don't want her to go into this business not knowledgeable on how hard it is to make the money. Because you see Yahoo, single mom, 32, making 100,000 a year, making 12 to 15 grand a month. Great. That is fabulous. I'm so excited for her. I was like, but that's not the norm.
Right.
That is not, once you get in here, I have so many people like, oh, I'm just going to sell feet pics. You can, but you're not going to make $1 million with your toes. There's
Mm-hmm.
some people who do, but it takes them a
A
long
long
time to get there.
time.
And it
Yeah.
is work. This is work. This is sex work. So
Mhm.
it's not,
It
that's
is.
another thing. It's
And
like, this
sometimes
isn't
you're doing it when you're exhausted. And it's like,
for
I don't
sick.
want to look, it's like, I don't want to look pretty right now. Or it's like, it's, I always feel that I want to be camera ready. I always want to present myself in the best light, which we all do. All the dark stuff is off camera. Um, but it is a, you know what? It's like I have to pick the makeup, I have to pick the clothes, I have to do, because I do a lot of my own filming because
Yeah,
like you, my photographer full-time job,
full-time job.
and
Yeah.
it's the availability. I'm retired, sort of trying.
Okay.
Um,
So yeah,
so
so you
my
have,
availability,
but again, you have tripods, angles, lighting. It's, honestly, the only makeup I'm wearing right now is the lipstick. I
and you
Before I was
look
like, and
fabulous.
that's the thing, is that I normally even don't even wear the lipstick, or I don't shave my legs, or it's like, and I have so many people are like, oh, show me your underarms, let's see if they're shaved today, or like, it's so it's one of those things where even if you didn't have the makeup on, or even if you weren't camera ready, your fans will enjoy that other side, even though we don't enjoy that side. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I've come to that realization too in this process, where you might see me in my hair up in a messy bun and no lipstick on and my glasses half crooked and I'm just looking like I've been beat.
Mhm.
But and then they're like, oh gosh, what happened to Witchy? What's wrong with her? And I'm like, no, this is my normal day.
Yeah.
This is a Sunday morning where I'm just sitting, drinking my tea, reading my book. I'm not looking. If you want to say hello, I'll throw on the live, say hi to everybody, and they're like, oh gosh, I'm like, this is me. If you can handle that, great.
Yeah.
That means you truly want to hang out. And if you
Yeah.
don't, if you just want the sexy stuff, OF's down the corner, and you have plenty of other stuff you can definitely deal with there.
Exactly.
It's
And
fun.
I will say that often is like, I have no fillers, no Botox, no plastic, no silicone, no surgeries. It's like I've earned every single wrinkle that my smile has provided me.
Yeah,
I might have good genes because I don't look
no,
66, which
you do
thank
not.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
for the genes and looking over me. But you're right. I will come home from working out. I'll be at the gym,
Mhm.
come home. All I did was throw on my gym stuff and come home and hop on a video. And it's like, okay, here I am. I just walked in from the gym with the messy bun, no
Mhm.
makeup. And it's like, okay, well, this is every day.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes there's some live videos I do on OF for my fans that have auto renew on. I call it Tub Time Thursday. I love, love, love filming in the tub. And what I'll do is I'll have my garb from the day. I do a lovely little tease. I take off my makeup on camera. Like I'll take my wipe and go, all right, what are we talking about today? How is everybody's day going? Like just, you know, something like if you were standing next to me and I was getting ready for a bath, you and I are talking. Like
Mhm.
you and I, like it would just be like something. Oh, okay. What content should I make? Should I try something new? Do you want a new segment? Should I
Mhm.
start talking about random stuff? And what? Because that's another thing too. Is like my segments. I love doing my segments, but my segments are more geared towards women, not men. And that's another thing. It's like I wish I was into cars more, or Star Wars, or I wish I had more male hobbies that I was
Mhm.
interested in.
Yeah.
And so like now I read smut. Again, a lovely woman's genre of just I don't watch porn, I read it. And so one live, I was in bed, propped up my camera, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna read to you guys today. Yesterday, I haven't read to them in about like 2 weeks because it was just a random thing. I wanted to try something new. I had one guy, his name is Reed, and I love him. He's here. And he asked me, when are you going to read to us again? I was like, serious? He's like, yeah, I want you to read to us. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, the book I'm in now is like the second part of the book I read 2 weeks ago to y'all, so I don't want to necessarily jump into something like halfway for you. I was like, but maybe I could. Maybe every week I can sit on live in my cute little pajamas, which is normally just a tank top and shorts, and and read to you guys. I'm down. I love
Down with
reading.
that.
And so they're
Hmm.
like, yeah, yeah, like give us an A and a B and we'll pick which book to read and then you can just go for it. I was like, score. So that could be something else. Like I love the interaction
Expansion.
and
Yeah.
yeah, because sometimes you're just doing the same thing over and over and I get bored of it just as much as they do.
Hmm.
So I'm like, what else do you want me to do? But yeah, that's one thing now that I'm not as sick and I got my voice back, I can definitely read them a
Don't
couple
you
of
have the crud?
chapters online.
You did. I'm
I'm
sorry.
coming off of like that sinus infection stuff because the season change, I always get a sinus infection. And lately, it's been affecting my voice as much. And it was so funny because I sounded like Marge Simpson. And I was telling my fans on OnlyFans, I send DMs, like voice DMs, just to say, hey, I'm still alive kind of deal.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I sound like this. I sound like Marge Simpson. And I had somebody like, oh, honey, that looks so good. Oh, you sound so fabulous. Oh my God. I'm like, but I did have one guy ask me if I smoked. And I don't. I barely drink and I don't smoke. And I was like, this is just the crud. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I had another model lined up for this morning.
Uh-huh.
Actually, we were actually going to do it yesterday. So having a few models in the pipeline is
Hmm.
extremely helpful, apparently, this time of the year, because we were all set to go. She's in Sweden,
Oh,
and she goes,
wow.
it doesn't matter what time of the day. She's from the United States, lives in Sweden.
Nice.
She goes, it matters not what time of the day or night. She goes, I'll do whatever for you. And it's like, great. So had everything all set up, and I get a video from her and sounding just like that.
Oh no,
She's all
swollen. Yeah. Oh,
swollen. She goes, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. Yeah. And it's
yeah.
like, oh my God, get better.
Yes.
Don't worry. It's like extremely flexible over here. So we were able to work this out, and you and I came together with
Yeah.
some
Sorry,
time.
it didn't happen yesterday. I was literally traveling from San Antonio back to Houston, and I was exhausted when I got home.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, honey, I'm so glad we moved that to
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's totally understandable, and it's interesting because I work with people and talk with other models who I've got two up in Canada. I've got a couple out in California, and I'm always asking, where are you?
Hmm.
And what's the time difference?
Time
So,
zones. Yeah.
yeah, so talking with Lisa over in Sweden, it's like, okay, what's the time difference and all of that? And to figure out, I don't want to take advantage of anybody and their time.
Right.
And the willingness to do this with me is awesome enough in itself. So thank you so very, very much.
Oh, anytime.
But it is it is those type of calls and those type of relationships. My iPad has gone off again, so to heck with it. Um, those type of relationships, it's like, yeah, I love hearing what you do, how you do it, how you fit everything in, and just so that we know that we have some very real followers and fans, and they understand that this isn't it. And I can readily tell when somebody is too needy. And it'll be, oh my God, I didn't say hi right off. Or I get six hi, 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 hi. And it's like, okay, this person is just a little bit too needy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
those
And
ones,
or okay. And we were talking about people impersonating us, right? I had a friend, and when that happens, and like a bunch of ladies like, "Hey, block this," they're messaging. I had one lady who I follow on Facebook, but she has a Twitter, and this she apparently someone made a Twitter about her and was messaging me like I was a dude. One, I was like, okay, you see that it's my face. I'm Texas Crystal Witch on the X now, and so I fuck with them. I pretend I'm a dude. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Honey, I have so many dick pics to my disposal. I throw all of them on the table, and it's just and then I'll screenshot what I do and I send it to the real person to give them a giggle, because you know how hard and frustrating it can be. So if you pretend to be me and I come at you, I'm going to pretend to be one of my awesome fans that lets me use their pictures, and I will throw every crazy scenario, crazy kink, you name it, I'll throw it at them to the point where they block me. And that I think is like the quintessential revenge
It's sort of
that
the
yeah, that we could do as a okay, you want to pretend to be me? This is the shit I deal with on a daily. Why don't I say hi, 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 hi? What's up? What's up? What are you doing? What are you doing? How are you? You're so beautiful today. Blah blah blah. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And they're like, well, why aren't you talking to me? What? What? I just did.
yeah.
What? You need to be talking to me more. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I talk more on my OF page. Are you there? You know, like I try to make it to where I'm like I'm not mean about it, but if and I don't want you to be lonely by any means, but I do more my chit chatting and with my followers, not necessarily on the socials.
Yeah.
So that's a heads up too.
Exactly the same as you. If you've made that connection with somebody, and I will say, if you want something more personal with me, I'm all about that. But we need to move this over to my OF page
Yeah, we need to move it to a
because,
different platform because
mhm,
this platform ain't cutting
yep, no. And
it.
if you're gonna join my OF page, you got to pay. It's a subscription,
Yep.
and that way, as minimal as it is, that way I know that you have an investment in my time and the time that I want to share with you. So most of it goes there. The socials are a lot of just likes. Sometimes I get comments that I just can't help not responding to.
Right.
Um,
Oh
yeah.
wow. Yeah.
And some are totally benign, and others are like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, Witchy, Marlaina, thank you. I have enjoyed being with you today.
Thank you so
I
much. So I've had a fun time again. Thanks for inviting me on, and I hope that helps people who are maybe even thinking about what we
think,
do,
mhm,
and giving them a little bit of a tidbit on the ins and outs of it.
yeah,
Like I said, I love doing the shout for shouts. I love helping other women grow. So if your IGs, I do shout for shouts on this page. I do it on Busty Coven, which is my big page. Uh, that's kind of dedicated to shout for shouts. And then, of course, if we have our fabulous fans that want to either get to know me more or want to talk about doing something special, OF, I got the two. You're definitely more than welcome to come on in. It's like you said, it's not that expensive, but it is a little bit of investment to hang out with Witchy and join my coven of little devils.
I love it all. I want, let's hop on this again in the future so that we can catch up, let our fans know what's new and happening in our lives. And I hope you have an awesome day. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, too.
There goes
Bye.
Marlena, and there goes Danielle. She's out.